So tell us more. You want to lift 500,000 children out of poverty by the end of this Parliament. How are you going to do it?
So our child poverty strategy is about improving incomes, reducing costs, and giving parents the support that they need. So on incomes, people will be aware that we're lifting the two-child limit, which is a very significant measure to get children out of poverty. We're also raising the national minimum wage, which is worth £900 a year to some of the lowest paid workers. On costs, we've taken a number of steps to freeze rail fares and to make sure that people's have a bit of help with their energy bills, up to £300 for those on universal credit. Particularly on costs, as the Minister for Homelessness, the bit that I'm really working on is to get those children who are experiencing the worst poverty, that's our children who are currently housed in B&B temporary accommodation, out of those that B&B accommodation and into more settled housing. And I'm sorry to say that we've got the hidden scandal of 2,000 children housed in B&B accommodation for more than 6 weeks, which is actually unlawful. And so we need to take steps over the weeks and months to come to address that. And that's a part of our strategy as well. But overall, for all families, we want to see them with rising incomes, taking action on their costs, and also learning the lessons of Sure Start and bringing back that good quality family help in every area.
You mentioned Sure Start. Why not bring it back?
Well, our Best Start family hubs, as I say, learn the lessons of Sure Start, which is, and those lessons are,
version, isn't it?
If you invest in good family help, it saves you money down the line. So actually, what's happening at the moment is we're paying the cost of child poverty in A&E attendances and in children not being ready to learn. Since Sure Start was got rid of by the Tories, some councils have innovated, brought different services together to help parents. And so we want to work with what's already happening in communities up and down the country. But we have increased the number of Best Start family hubs for 1,000 across the country, which means there'll be one in every area.
You called the lifting of the two-child benefit cap a significant measure, and really it's doing the heavy lifting in this strategy, isn't it? I mean, the IFS, the independent think tank, estimates that 450,000 of the 550,000 that these measures should help is down to that one policy. Essentially, are you lifting children out of poverty by expanding the welfare state?
Well, we have to recognise how poverty has changed over the past decade and a half. And the reason why I say that is because it used to be the case that if you were in poverty, you were likely to be a parent out of work.
The line has frozen, Alison. I don't know if you can still hear me, but your picture has frozen for the moment. I'm going to keep talking in the hope that it reanimates.
Unfortunate that you're just in the middle of giving you.
It's still frozen. I've been told by our director.
I mean, the challenge.
Let's see if we can reconnect, because we do want to continue that conversation. It's a really important issue.
It was, and the challenge was that you were just putting to the minister there was that this attempt to lift children out of poverty has resulted in a huge increase in spending on welfare, which is what the government's critics are really getting on them for. Yeah,
Alison, I think we've got you back now. Apologies, but your picture just froze there as you were starting to answer my question. No, it's not your fault at all. But basically, I was putting to you that the two-child benefit cap is basically doing all the work here.
It used to be the case that people were poor because they were out of work. That's not true anymore. 3/4 of families in poverty, that someone is working in that household. What's driving poverty at the moment is where you have larger families because of the two-child limit. So, we think that the cost of that is significant to taxpayers because children are not able to learn, and we're seeing the cost of that in the NHS. So we know we've got to lift the two-child cap because all of our children deserve to succeed, and that's the way that we will help them move on in life. And I think it's right that we say we don't blame the children for decisions taken by their parents. We make sure that everybody has a chance and an opportunity to succeed.
As you know, the lifting of that cap has its critics, but you believe that it makes a massive difference to tackling this issue of child poverty. So if you're so convinced, why did you take so long to bring it in? Why wasn't it brought in last year?
because we spent a year working across government to work out what the effective decisions are that we can take that will get ahead of poverty. So can we use our investment in the NHS to make sure that we're improving children's health, which is what we're going to do? Can we make sure that our investment in schools is also helping those children who are most at risk because of poverty, of not being ready to learn? So we thought through all of the measures and making sure that government is working together, not just focused on one thing. And that's the right way, I think, to prevent poverty as well as just mop up the costs of it. So we listen to families up and down the country. I've spent many hours in community centres and in schools and talking to families and parents and children and listening to how they feel about it. They want decent housing, to be able to work and have a good income, and then to be able to have a quality of family life and spend time together. And that's what we've put at the heart of our strategy.
I just want, while we've got you, I've got a couple of other questions I do want to put to you, because Sky News is airing a documentary today looking at grooming gangs. It tells a really shocking story of lives ruined, and it's an ongoing problem, as we see in this documentary. The government announced in June a national inquiry. When is that expected to start?
So the ministers responsible are working with victims to get the right chair. We want that national inquiry to get to the truth and to, get all of the details of what is undoubtedly one of the greatest scandals in our country's history. So ministers are working with victims now to get the right chair. And meanwhile, the Prime Minister has asked every police force in the country to go through their historic cases and to review them, because we can't waste any time in the activity that we can take whilst ministers responsible go through the process of working carefully with victims to find the right chair. And once we've got the chair, then the inquiry will start.
And finally, a quick question about Eurovision, because yesterday we saw 4 countries pulling out of next year's contest after it was decided that Israel could compete. The BBC has said that Britain will enter. Is that the decision that you wanted to see?
Well, primarily this is one for the European Broadcasting Union. They're an independent organisation who run Eurovision. Personally speaking, I'm not myself. Some people are really obsessive Eurovision fans. I'm not. But when it came to Liverpool, it was a wonderful time for my city. Everybody had a fabulous time. So I do think it's sad if it can't, if there are issues with Eurovision. But the decisions are independent of government. So it's one for the EBU.